Every little girl grows up dreaming about her happy ever after, but most of us don't have fairy tale scriptwriters making sure we get it. That's where the Happy Ever After show comes in. If you have been waiting for a fairy godmother to wave her magic wand and release your frustrations, create the prosperity you want, and live a life you love, then listen closely. It's time to learn how to make your own wishes come true with your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode where I am interviewing someone I'm very excited to interview, Caryn Gillen, and she has she's going to share with you all and with me how she manifested more than $10,000 after reading Manifest 10,000. So welcome, Caryn. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. I think where I want to start is just tell us a little bit about you.
I am a weight loss coach and a mama, and I live in Eugene, Oregon on my little farmette, and I have 6 chickens, and yeah.
I love that. So cool. So is the farmette just like a mini farm? Do you have any other animals?
No, just the toddler.
Just the toddler.
Yeah. No, we just have a garden, and it's like 1 acre, and so we kind of joke that it's our little tiny farm.
I love it. That's so fabulous. Very cool. All right. So, and how long have you been a coach for?
I think about 8 years now. Long time.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your Manifest 10K story. Like, actually, I want to start here before I even say that. Like, how did you find the book? Did it just show up in your news feed? Did you get an email?
So I have I've followed Angela Lauria for probably almost the entire time I've been a coach. And so I'm pretty tuned in when she does book launches. And I always just go through all the titles and think about which one I want to check out. And yours was definitely one of them. So I had it on my Kindle. And then one sunny summer day, I wanted to sit in the yard and just read. And my daughter was with her dad. They were playing, and I read your book, and I was like, this is good. I'm going to get a notebook. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do all this stuff, she says. So I was out in the sun in my Adirondack chair working on my manifesting.
I love it. Do you think sort of the space that you put yourself in, like when you read, like you were in this very, I don't know, I just had this picture of you enjoying your life, like watching your husband and your daughter play, and the sun. I love you. Like, it was a sunny day.
Yeah, I remember it really clearly, so I'm thinking that you're probably right. I remember like taking the time to separate myself from the busy. Like, I was out in the middle of the big green part of the yard. Like, there wasn't anything around me. It was really nice. It was very intentional, the whole process, because I forgot I had started reading the book in bed a few nights before, and I had thought, no, this isn't a nighttime reading thing. This is a daytime focus on it reading thing.
I love that. So cool. All right. So you're out in your chair and you went through, and then you went and got your notebook, and like, kind of what happened when you got your notebook? Tell me everything.
I just decided I was just going to do everything and follow all the steps, because I had, it just felt like the right things to do for some reason. And the questions were good. And it kind of just, the way that you were taking things felt to me really similar to the way that I take clients through the weight loss process. It's like, it's not just about focusing on the money. If you focus on the money, you're kind of missing the point. It's focusing on what's the big picture and what am I creating. And I think it's the same whether it's a pound of weight loss or $100.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Do you want to share more about your process, like, and like kind of how they compare? You don't have to. I think, just, like, if you want to share, I would love to hear your like sort of comparisons. Yeah.
Well, I think it's really important, just like when you're thinking about, I'm going to bring money into my life and into my world, how am I going to honor that and use that? How do I see my life changing? How do I see myself feeling in that life? I think if you can connect to that in a powerful way, that will pull you forward into that, the same way as if you're 200 pounds and you think you should be 145. If you can connect with what is that 145 pound self doing with her day, what is she feeling, what are her primary emotions, what is she wearing, it's just so much the same. It's so much easier to get pulled into her great life than to sit here and like save money or count calories. I just see so many similarities.
Yeah, I love that. So I feel like there's somebody listening right now who's like, I want to connect with her about weight loss. So would you just share your website really quick? And we'll share it again at the end, but I feel like there's somebody who's like dying to write it down right now.
Yeah. So it's my first name and last name, CarynGillen.com.
Cool.
CarynGillen.com.
Perfect. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And so then tell us a little bit about doing the exercises and, going through. Did you have a favorite? Did you have one moment where you were like, oh, this is really cool, I'm going to do this part?
I really liked adding it up. So it was like, it was kind of like, oh, I want to manifest this much money. And it was like, I was thinking, well, let's do 15,000. And then the exercise was actually, you need to get really specific about what are all of those dollars for. So let's allocate those dollars, and here's how much this costs, and here's how much this costs, and I want to go for a weekend to the beach with my husband and my daughter, and here's how much I think that's going to cost, and thinking about where we would stay. And I think that exercise did two really important things. It made me be really specific, and it made me think about what it would be like to experience that stuff. So I think it's later in the book when you kind of call on yourself to venture out in your mind and feel into those experiences.
Yeah, definitely. So your number was 14,300, which I love that you were like, you took that like specificity and like, that's a very specific number. I love it.
Yeah. And I had a Post-it note that I kept in my wallet. And I had, I wish, once I found out I was doing this with you, I went through my recycle bin at work because I never empty it. And I thought, oh, maybe I still have the Post-it note, but I had since recycled it. But it had everything. Like, how you talk about kind of doing I don't know if you call it a scavenger hunt, but where you find a penny and then you find a nickel and then you find a dime. I didn't do that exactly, but I definitely honored every single coin that showed up. Like, I found a dime in a parking lot on my way to my truck, and I put that in there. It was like every single thing went in there. So there was tons of, different colors of ink and additions, and I was putting little notes about what things were, where they were coming from. And it was interesting just to see how that all came in.
Yeah. What was the because it's so powerful when we start to like honor all of that. Do you remember, like, did you have like a shift in your mindset? Did it become more fun? What was kind of your experience with really keeping track and having all those different colors on that sticky note?
I think one of the things I've been noticing for myself is that there are certain people that I will go and work with that I have this sense of like, oh, it's as good as done. Like, I went and wrote a book with Angela as well. And I knew that just signing up to work with her meant it's as good as done. Yeah, I have to do all the work and the steps along the way, but somehow making that commitment made so much sense, and it was as if it had already happened. And I felt a similar way about this. So operating in a way that just allowed for things to come my way felt really natural, as opposed to, I don't know, feeling like grasping for it or feeling like I needed to save money to make something happen. It just felt like, right, oh yeah, I opened things up so that all this could come in. Of course it's coming. Of course I'm going to make that sale. Of course somebody sent me that check. That makes so much sense.
Oh, I love that. So cool.
It was a mind shift for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous. And so important. I love that you highlighted that, because that is the place where it does, like, it changes. Like when you're like, of course that happened. Of course that person sent me money. Of course I just found money in the parking lot. Like it snowballs, I feel like, and becomes like just who you are on an everyday basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And so how many days did it take to meet your intention?
I remember the 90 days because you say put it in your calendar so you know when it's the 90 days are up. Lisa, I think you say that, or
I
I might
do.
have made it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that you did it too, by the way.
Oh, I did it all. If I do something, I'm like all in. I'm going to do every single step because that's the way it's supposed to work. I didn't realize I was such a good rule follower. But I put it in, it was September 4th, and it said, I think I just put in 14,300. I think it was just the number. And I noticed that as I was looking ahead in my calendar, I think it was in August, I was like, oh, I was supposed to do that by then, but I'm already past that. Like, and so it was sort of fun. Like I had already, like it was already done maybe a month before.
That's fabulous. How did that feel?
That was fun. That was when I was like, oh, I have to do that again. And it really, I kind of have this, and I've had this feeling that like you have to be really careful with your intentions, especially in my life, because once I decide to do something, it's like it's done. And it happened. I decided to have a baby. I was pregnant, as soon as I tried. All these things happen so fast once I get really clear. So I'm not surprised that it happened really fast, but it was a nice exercise in me kind of noticing like, yeah, I'm right about that. My intentions are really powerful and I need to, one, keep setting them, and two, make sure I'm moving towards what I want.
Oh, I love that. That's such great advice. Everybody's going to love hearing that because it is so important. Like, and I love that, it was a realization like, oh, I'm super powerful. Like you already knew that, but it's just like at a whole new level.
Yeah, it was, and it's fun to see that with money rather than, other things maybe aren't as exciting all the time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that was your biggest aha was like that, and be intentional and do the work. Like, say more about like doing the work. Cause I think that's where you excel. I mean, we've talked a little bit about it, but that's really, I think that's super important.
Yeah. I think doing the work no matter what, and doing it every day. I don't think it was by accident that I decided to keep the sticky note in my wallet, in my purse, that I have everywhere I go. Like, take your intentions with you. They don't just hang on the wall of your bedroom and then the rest of your life you spend out in the world. Like, it was with me everywhere I went. And I think that that's the process of making change, is making it a part of your habits and having it be a part of all of your life. And showing up every day and taking action and honoring everything that happens. Like, don't write it down all at the end of the week. Write it down in the moment and be appreciative in the moment.
So good. I love it. It's so important. And what's the most important thing that you learned from reading the book Manifest 10,000 and then manifesting $14,300?
The most important thing, I think this is hilarious, but I really had I did not know that how I live my life is, and I can't even think of what it's called. What is the work that you do called?
Like deliberate creation, or is that the word you're looking for? Or using law of attraction?
Yes, law of attraction.
Yeah.
So I'm so tuned out from the whole law of attraction thing that I had no idea it's exactly what I do, like in so many parts of my life. So I think it was just interesting that I came into it and was like, oh, right, this is exactly what I like to do through your book. And so it was a big aha for me that like, this is this thing I'm doing. And look at this, she's doing it with money. And I was part of the time when I was taking notes out of your book and answering the questions and thinking about my future, I was taking separate pages like, oh my gosh, this is how this applies to my clients. And I could not like get my head out of the weight loss thing while doing this work. So it was sort of like, this is all the same stuff. This is amazing. And, the more I work with people, the more I see that this is so obvious. But for me, last summer, it was just such a big, fun aha.
That's fantastic. I love that. And it's all the, like the process, like you use it for weight loss. I use it for I use it for everything in my life. And I think you do too. And it's just that aha that like, oh yeah, we can do this in other areas. Oh, so fun. I love that. What advice would you give someone who wants to manifest more money in their life?
I would ask them why. Like if you're going to do this thing, if you're going to go all in and create something and allow for the universe to really set you up with what you want, have a good reason, and have a reason that compels you and pulls you forward. Like, don't be running from your debt, but be choosing to move toward the life that you want. And I think that's just, in any situation, that's so much more fun. And I think it's always choosing grace over grasp.
Ooh, I love that. I've never heard that. Is that a Karyn special, grace over grasp?
Yeah, I do say that a lot.
I love it. I've never heard anyone. It's so fabulous. Grace over grasp. It's so simple, and yet it's like it's so powerful. And that's exactly. I love that you pointed out. Like that's one of my favorite things to teach is like be pulled somewhere instead of running from something. So yeah, fabulous. And then choose grace over grasp. Fabulous. What are you manifesting next?
Next, I decided to just go for a bigger number.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I pretty much doubled the number, and I'm working on that right now.
Nice. And
yeah,
that's so good. And it like, did you kind of go back to I love to ask this question because did you like go sort of back to the beginning of the process, or did you just say like 50,000? I hope you don't care that I share that number. This is what's up next.
I decided that was what was up next. And then I thought back to what I did in the summer in the sun. And I was like, nope, I'm going right back through the book. So I went back to the beginning of the book, did every single exercise, thought about what life would be like there. Yeah, I did the same thing all over again. I've got the note in my wallet, and I'm keeping track.
Yay! Awesome. Well, I cannot. I'm so excited to hear all about it. And I love that you went back and went through the process because it's so powerful. Like so often I see people and they, it's like, let me set a new intention, but I'm not going to go back to what worked. I'm going to do something different. And so I know that 50,000 is just right around the corner, and I hope you will definitely let me know when it's all shows up in your life, because that's fantastic.
Yeah. Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for sharing and writing a book that matters for people.
Yeah, of course. Which brings me to my next topic. Do you want to talk about your book?
Ooh, I'd love to.
Okay, let's do that.
My book is called I Wanted It, and it is how to lose weight while you travel for work. So I'm kind of like, you're traveling for work anyway, you might as well get paid to lose weight. So it is just going through some final editing this weekend, and I've got somebody getting ready to write the foreword for me over the Thanksgiving holiday. So it's almost out. My goal is to have it out on the 1st of the year.
Yay. Okay. So what if somebody's like, I want to know for sure when it comes out, like what's the best way for them to like stay updated? Is there a way on your website or?
Yeah. If you want to go to my website, caryngillen.com, you can sign up for my newsletter. It's on the right-hand side of the website, and I do post book updates in there. And there will be some special book access stuff for people who are on my newsletter list that other people aren't going to be in on. So I would love to have anybody come and subscribe who's interested at all. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So, and it's all about, I think this is so cool because I don't think there's another book like this. So this is really about if you travel for work, how to lose weight while you're doing that.
Right. And so it's getting yourself all set up to go and be ready to keep traveling for work, keep living your busy life, keep being out in the world and doing what you love to do and what you're great at, and get into the body that feels more like you. So many of us are uncomfortable and distracted by how we feel in our skin, and that gets in the way of the work we're doing in the world. And that is why I do this work, is so that more people can contribute without worrying about what they look like or how their clothes are not adjusted right to hide that one, area that they don't like. I'm over it. I'm over people being distracted by their bodies, and I want more powerful people showing up in the world as who they are without being held back by this.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Such a needed book, and I'm so excited. And obviously, we have a lot that we jive on. So I love the way that you teach it. You just said, I missed it because I was listening to everything else, but it was like, I don't know, something about showing up and being pulled and like really being able to be powerful. Everything you said was amazing. Yeah. But so I'm excited that you're putting that book out into the world. It's awesome. And so if you want to get on the list, you go to caryngillen.com, which is Carin. That's not right. Thank you. I was like, no, wait, that's not the right one. CarynGillen.com. I got that all right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming and sharing your story. Like, I really appreciate it because I think that the thing that teaches us we can do it a lot of times is seeing someone else do it.
Totally.
So knowing that, and I think one of the most powerful, as you're listening to this as a listener, things that you can really, that Karyn said, all of it was amazing, but really where she started was one of the most amazing things. Like, this isn't something she sort of put on her list and rushed through the book in the process. She like sat in her red Adirondack chair in the sun, like watching her family play, and really sat and you said it, like stepped away from the busy, separated from the busy. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that listeners can take away from you. I mean, everything you said, again, is like super powerful, but I think that starting point is really where that power begins. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes. Any final thoughts that you want to share?
No, I think the only thing that comes to mind, just hearing that story about sitting down with the book again, it's like, allow it to be a special process.
So good. Yes. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. If you want Karyn's book, remind us the title again.
It is I Wanted It.
I Wanted It.
How to Lose Weight While You Travel for Work.
Fabulous. You can go to caryngillen.com, and we will definitely, hopefully you will come back and share with us when your next goal has manifested, and our listeners can learn even more from you.
Sounds good. I'd love to.
Great. Thank you so much. Yep. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Happy Ever After show, where you don't need a genie lamp to get your wishes granted. Now that you're inspired and ready to take action, get yourself on the path to your happy ever after by scheduling a complimentary strategy session at createmyhappyeverafter.com